Good morning, my dear students. Next, means of spread of infectious diseases, that is communicable diseases. The communicable diseases are infectious and they can spread from the person who is infected to the person who is healthy. Different pathogens spread their infections by a variety of methods. The means of transmission of infections is of two types, that is direct transmission and indirect transmission. First, direct transmission of diseases. In direct transmission, the disease causing agents, that is pathogen, get transmitted from the person who is infected to the healthy person directly without any immediate agent. It occurs in the following ways, that is physical contact, sexual contact, social contact, bites of animal, especially insect, then placental transmission. Placental transmission fetus to mother, placenta தொப்புள் கொடி, அதுதான் placental transmission. First, physical contact. In physical contact, the infection affects the healthy person by the actual physical contact of the article used by infected person. These types of disease are called contagious diseases. For example, chickenpox, smallpox and ringworms. Next, sexual contact. Sexual contact is the closest physical contact between two persons. There are certain diseases which get transmitted from infected person to the healthy person through sexual contact. For example, syphilis, AIDS, gonorrhea, hepatitis B, etc. These diseases, however, do not get transmitted by the casual or social physical contact such as handshake or touching the infected persons. AIDS virus also spread through blood contact, blood transfusion, use of common needle or syringe rather than sexual contact. 3 waysல வந்து என்னவாகும்னா எய்ட்ஸ் வந்து இந்த அக்யூர்ட் இம்யூனோடெஃபிஷியன்சி சிண்ட்ரோம் இஸ் த எய்ட்ஸ், அப்ரிவேஷன் ஆஃப் எய்ட்ஸு. ஹெச்ஐவி எது மூலமாக வந்து ஹியூமன் இம்யூனோ வைரஸ் எது மூலமாக பண்ணால் 3 ways. பிளட் மூலமாக, ஒருத்தங்கிட்ட இருக்க பிளட் மூலமாக என்னென்னா இந்த டிஸ்போசபிள் ஸ்ட்ரென்ச் அதனால தான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அது போட்ட இன்ஜெக்ஷனை ஒருத்தருக்கு போட்டதை இன்னொருத்தருக்கு போட்டால் அது மூலமாக வந்து இந்த எய்ட்ஸ் வரும். நெக்ஸ்ட்டு வந்து என்னென்னு சொன்னால் ஃபியூட்டஸ் டூ, அதாவது வந்து பிளாசண்டா, த்ரூ பிளாசண்டா, அதாவது மதருக்கும் ஃபீட்டஸ்க்கும் வந்து குழந்தை ப்ரெக்னன்சியாக இருக்க டயத்தில் வரும். நெக்ஸ்ட்டு லாஸ்ட் வந்து செக்ஷுவல் கான்டாக்ட். 3 waysல வந்து எய்ட்ஸ் வந்து பரவும். நெக்ஸ்ட்டு சோசியல் கான்டாக்ட். சம் இன்ஃபெக்டியஸ் ஏஜென்ட்ஸ் மே என்டர் த பாடி த்ரூ சாயில் இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் எனி ஓப்பன் இன்ஜுரி ஆர் wound. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் tetanus. Next, bites of animal. Animal bites can also spread communicable diseases. For example, the bite of rabbit, dog or monkey may cause rabies in humans. Next, placental transmission. The placenta connects the fetus to mother's then womb through the umbilical cord. This may also cause transmission of virus diseases. For example, virus of German measles, AIDS virus and syphilis, etc. Next, indirect transmission of diseases. It is the transmission of pathogen of disease through an intermediate agent like air, water, food or any vector. Indirect transmission may occur the following means: air, contaminated food and water, vectors and fomite bone. First, air. Air is a common indirect means of transmission of infectious. Many infectious agents are transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person through air, dust and droplets. When a infected person sneezes, cough or spites, the healthy person sitting or standing close inhales this air containing droplets and can catch the diseases. You may have experienced that you often catch cold if someone in your family is having it. The airborne diseases like common cold and tuberculosis can spread rapidly in crowded places. It is clear in the diagram that we are more susceptible for catching a disease when we move closer to the infected person. Overcrowded and poorly ventilated houses are major risk factors for airborne diseases. Next, contaminated food and water. There are various diseases that can spread through the use of contaminated food and water. Cholera and diarrhea are caused by the microbes which enter the host through drinking water and the food. Some of the other diseases include jaundice, amoebic dysentery, and then hepatitis, then ascaris, etc. These are mostly found to occur due to the mixing of fecal matter of infected persons suffering from diseases with the food and drinking water either directly or indirectly. Next, vectors. Certain living organisms that may spread the pathogen from an infected to a healthy person are called vectors. These vectors are often termed as carriers as some of the carry a part of life cycle of pathogens in their bodies and transfer them to host, and some transfer the pathogen without taking them in the body. Most of the insects are regarded as major vectors. Blood-sucking insect can readily transmit the disease by their bite on the body of an organism. Typhus, flake, and sleeping sickness are caused by loose rat flea and tissy flea respectively. Next, housefly is responsible for carrying the pathogen that cause cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and diarrhea on their legs and some of the mouth parts. The female mosquito of many species cause various diseases by acting as a vector. Malaria is spread through a female Anopheles mosquito, while filariasis is the disease by acting as a vector. Spread through a Culex mosquito. Next, blood is required to obtain nutrients for laying of eggs by these mosquitoes, and so the female mosquitoes feed on the blood of humans and other warm-blooded animals. Next, vomit borne. The articles that are being used by the infected person can also act as a source of infection for the healthy person. For example, door door handles, utensils, then garments, towels, etc. Next, organ organ specific and tissue specific manifestations. Our body consists of a large number of cell, tissue, organ, and organ system. The pathogen have the ability to infect only a particular type of tissue, organ, or organ system. In some diseases, this is specific of infections of organ or tissue greatly depends on the point or entry inside the body, while the others it is not. The severity of diseases also depends upon the tissue which is destroyed and on the toxins which are released by the infectious agents. Toxins, poisonous. Next, bite of infectious in human body. Various microorganisms may enter the human body by different routes and may affect the variety of specific organs in the body. Suppose microorganisms enter our body through the nose via inhaled air. They are expected to go to the lungs and cause respiratory diseases like tuberculosis and pneumonia. If the microorganism enter the digestive tract through mouth, they may cause diseases like diarrhea and typhoid. Some microorganisms may reach up to liver and cause jaundice. However, all microorganisms do not follow this type of pattern. HIV, that is the human immunodeficiency virus, enters the body through sexual contact but spreads all over the body to the lymph nodes. Similarly, Plasmodium, the malaria causing microorganism, enter the blood through a mosquito bite, goes to the liver, multiplies, and then reaches the RBCs, red blood corpuscles. In the same way, the virus causing encephalitis, that is a brain fever, enters the blood through the bite of mosquitoes and reaches up to the brain and infects it. Then sign and symptom of diseases. We have already discussed about sign and symptoms. The symptom of diseases provide the evidence of the disease and are the manifestations of the disease. The sign and symptom of the disease depend on the target organ in the body affected by the microorganisms. We experience headache, vomiting and unconsciousness if brain is the target organ of the organisms. We observe jaundice when the liver is the target organ, and loss of that is the pain in the abdomen when the alimentary canal is targeted by worms. Next, common effects. Besides all the tissue or organ specific manifestation of diseases, there are some common effects which are likely to be observed in the infected person. All these common effects are dependent on the activation of immune system of the body as a response to certain infections. In all cases, the body's immune system sends white blood cells to the place where the infectious agents attack. The process of collecting many cells against the infectious microbes is called inflammation. The inflammation causes some local effects like swelling and pain. Fever is a general effect of inflammation. Next, inflammation. Next class we will see the inflammation. Okay, thank you students.